Hi, today we're going to talk about articulation on flute. Articulation on flute can be complicated, but there are some steps that can make it easier. As flutists, we're expected to not only single tongue, but do all sorts of multiple tonguing like double tonguing and triple tonguing. So we're going to start with the basic and lead on to the double and the triple tonguing. So first, you have to understand that articulation really does come from your support system, not just here in the mouth. So you want to start learning the single tongue, maybe go back to basics, thinking the ha that maybe your band directors had you do when you were first playing. Just using the diaphragm muscle and the support system to just say ha, 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 ha. Then gradually you want to perfect it at the very end of that support. It still originates in the support system. The articulation saying t, T-I-H, or maybe if it's too harsh, using d, D-I-H. So basically what you want to do is say t, T-I-H. You feel how it's kind of arched in your mouth. You want to start with the basic area where the gums meet the teeth. If that's too harsh, move it back some. If it's not quite distinct enough, move it down towards the teeth, or change the syllable to d. So I would try. Now I'm going to move it back. That's not quite distinct enough. And I was moving it down, that started splitting. So you need to experiment with where you want to place the tongue and with the syllable. That is single tonguing right there. Now, going for double tonguing, what you want to do is, it's really kind of an up and down motion rather than a forward and a back. You have to strengthen the double part of the tongue. So there's 3 ways to do that. You need to isolate the double part of the tongue. So what I do, I use the syllables T-I-H and K-I-H. So the first way of doing this is to just isolate the K and use that as a single tongue. So what I do, I'll just take, say, a G major scale and do and keep doing that on the way up. Now I should say, when you start this, when you say the syllable T-I-H, you feel how the tongue is arched between the upper teeth. So keep that arch, and the front part of the tongue is going to go up and down for your double tonguing. So when you're using the ki, you're kind of just using that front part. It's very similar to flutter tonguing, just slow down flutter tonguing. So if you can flutter tongue, great. That gives you the sensation of the double tongue. So I'll just do the ki again. Now when the ki gets as strong as the t, then you go on to the second step where you do it backwards. You do backwards double tonguing. So it's ki, ti, ki, ti, ki. Now this step, it's very important that you go slow, or it can get really kind of jazzy and uneven because the ki is still working on getting as strong as the ti. You've been doing ti all of your life. So try not to do. Watch out for that and use a metronome, maybe on subdivisions. So I'm doing it backwards. Ki, ti, ki, ti, ki. And it sounds even like that. Go on to double tonguing. Ticka, ticka, ti. Etc., etc. And make sure that it stays even. Another important thing about double tonguing, it's interesting, but if you play it legato, it sounds more light than trying to play it staccato. If I try to play something staccato, it it doesn't sound very good. It sounds much lighter if you do it, if you keep the air going and you keep it light and legato. It sounds much better that way. So remember to keep it legato and that tongue placement. So those are the syllables for the double tonguing. A lot of times I'll just take double tonguing passages and flutter them, like I said. Instead of doing, that's me trying to do staccato. I just kept it light on the time before and it sounded much better. I like to use Anderson Opus 30 for many things, but Etude number 3 is really good for flexibility. It's good to slur it. It's good to do all kinds of things, but I also use it for double tonguing practice. So that's really, really kind of rough when you try to do all those leaps and that sort of thing. That's when you get more advanced. So the first step in practicing double tonguing is doing the same note. Then you move on to when your fingers move with the articulation. That adds another element of difficulty on top of that. So that's double tonguing. Triple tonguing is interesting. I know trumpets use a different syllable system than we do. We use ticketa, ticketa for slower triple tonguing, and we use ticketa for faster triple tonguing. I know that gets kind of complicated, but the first one is a little bit slower because you have two tis in a row. So you're going ticketa, 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 ticketa. The second one is really double tonguing divided in threes. It's really much easier if you whisper it. So try that. So I would try that on just a stationary note to get that going. So these are some ways to help you improve your tonguing. Don't forget that it always originates from your support system. And for double tonguing, think legato and light, and that will help you play very fast, which we're required to do many times, especially in band and orchestra.